Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have an awesome show for you guys today. This is, you read the description. You know what it is. This is our betting show. I mean, we're going back to our roots, our draft betting show. We're going to be talking about all of our favorite draft bets. You know, we're going to just have a good mix of, we disagree with this, we like this, just go through all of them. I went through a couple last night. I finally got my free bet from FanDuel a long time ago, which I shouldn't be giving them a shout out, but whatever.
It's a bad shout out.
I waited for like 2 months on it. Finally got it, so I spent like $50 last night on just a couple random bets. I'm excited to talk about that. Before we get to that, we have been doing shot bets on this channel. We've just been kind of like off the cuff talking shot bets throughout the draft season. And look, we like to do shot bets. We are doing our live stream. We're going to be paying up shot bets as we lose. By the way, live stream is going to be lit. We have put a ton of time and energy into it. Join us on that live stream. We're going to be ahead of the TVs because we're going to be talking about the picks as they get released, as the news from Twitter or whatever comes. So we're constantly going to be on social. We're constantly be talking to everybody that's in the comments, and hey, we're gonna have the info too. We are going like 100 players deep just so we don't get caught up by like rando lineman that was projected to be a 4th round pick. No, we're going to be prepared.
Titus Howard.
Exactly. I mean, just whoever the Raiders want to draft, like Jesus, who knows? But we're going to be ready. Please join us for that. Let's get to our shot bets. All right. So we went back and compiled them. We have 6 right now, and we might have more. We're hoping to have like 10 by the time it comes.
I know we have more that have been in the past too, but these are the ones that we were able to remember right off the top of our heads.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So these are the ones. So the first one we're going to talk. It's in no particular order. Just going to go down the list here. This is mine. Rondale Moore will not be drafted in the top 20. All right. This is a wide receiver I'm not as high on. I've done a draft profile on it. If you're interested,
40.
So, top 40. What did I say?
Yeah, 20.
Did I say 20?
Yeah, you said 20, and I was about to say I like Rondale Moore, and Rondale Moore's not going in the top 20.
Yeah, top 40. I don't think he's a first round pick. I tried to get you to bet on first round pick, but you're like, oh, I don't know. So I gave you top 40 because I still believe it. I do think he's a back half of the second round type of guy, maybe even third rounder. So hey, I put my shot where my mouth is, my drinking where my mouth is.
Yeah, Rondale's going to be a top 40 pick. Yeah. Rondale is too electric. He is too exciting of a player. The combine pops for you. You're able to look at the film and see what it's. Yes, I understand the injuries and all that good stuff, but you giving me those first few picks on day 2, GMs are going to know who the most exciting player on the board is right there, and I think 40 gives me that highest chance.
And that's why I gave it to you, because there were a bunch of wide receivers that went at the top of day 2, right? Like what was it last year? We had a
T. Higgins, a Michael Pittman.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And a Visca.
Yeah, so I'll want to. Yeah, if he's in that range, hey, it's very possible. I think he's going to be in that next tier of guys. I really do. So that's just my take there. And hey, if I have to take a shot, I have to take a shot. This is what it is. This is a fun one. I think we did last week. We've done it very recently. I gave you a 10-1 bet on it was last week on the Steelers taking a running back at their current draft position, right? 10-1. Basically, you're taking a shot because I don't think you really even think the Steelers are going to take a running back.
Did you not see the report that came out?
I saw it right after we made this bet too. Yeah, I know.
Right after we made the bet on the Steelers taking a running back in the first. And I agree with John also on the Steelers draft history. It's not even agreeing; it's a fact where the Steelers draft their running backs primarily.
Constantly drafting day 3.
4 to 6 is where they find their guys, and they're okay with that. The report came out after the fact, though, that they are heavily looking at taking a running back in the first round. And listen, the more I think about it, the more it kind of does make sense, though. With an aging Ben Roethlisberger, maybe you're trying to transition your offense a little bit more into a rushing attack, maybe for Travis Etienne, perhaps, maybe get that Le'Veon Bell roll, scat back style. For a Najee, it makes more sense in my head, too, to be able to just do the ground and pound thing.
Yeah.
But then again, it really doesn't make sense because your offensive line is depleted. Yeah. So I think you're going to win that bet, but at 10-1 odds, I'd be a fool for not taking it.
And by the way, you're good with me not doing that on the live stream, right?
Because
at 23,
we want to put out good quality content here. But
don't want to get crushed.
We're not going to be 10 shots deep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go 10 shots.
Yeah, I can't do that. I have a low threshold, just to be fair. All right, this is one that I put money on, and we're going to talk about it a little bit a little later. But Mac Jones versus Fields at that number 3 pick. It's been hotly debated right now. And this makes no sense to me, but Justin Fields is the favorite to go number 3 to the 49ers right now. I think I'm looking at FanDuel right now, plus 105 odds with Mac Jones at it went down to plus 115. I got that in last night at plus 180.
Good job.
You see that?
The money's pushing it up.
Dude, it went back to Mac Jones. I'm telling you, it is Mac Jones at 3. I took Mac Jones. You got Justin Fields. We'll see. And let me be clear. I have Justin Fields higher than Mac Jones as a prospect. I've never been high on Mac Jones. I know like on this pod it may be like skewed a little bit because I've defended him here and there. I've defended him to the 49ers because I think he'll be really good with the 49ers. I think that highly of Kyle Shanahan. And I mean, Mac Jones can make every throw, so like, I don't have a problem from that angle. But yeah, it's not a pick that I would make. Certainly would never have traded up for Mac Jones, but I do think 49ers are going that direction.
Man, yeah, Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. So I don't think I know that going off your rankings too. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact way it reflects.
Yeah.
The reason that this is just because of the news and the rumors and the Kyle Shanahan vibes that go around with Mac Jones being taken.
And to me,
I understand it completely.
And to me, he
Mac
fits
Jones
what
is
they
a
like.
He is a good schematic fit in the system. But, you know, I'll take you up on that. Man, I'm enamored by the fact that Zach Wilson at plus 2,600. Listen, I understand. That takes the Jets making the wrong move. Mm-hmm. We have seen crazier things.
Listen, so what's funny is I did a video a long time ago on the Hammercast Network talking about Zach Wilson at 2, and I was like saying, hey, it's a lock right now. And it was at like minus 120, right? It was very reasonable odds to bet on Zach Wilson at number 2. Now we get close to the draft, and it's a true lock. Like it's minus 3,000 right now. But I was talking about then, I was like, guys, why are we questioning this? Like the deal's done. It's over. It's Zach Wilson all the way. I would just the Jets can't miss on that. There's just no way.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But listen, crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was a more surefire prospect than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you're right.
That year.
But I get that. But that year, like the Browns were like coated in secrecy the whole time. Like I remember that year where like we never truly knew. It was always talked about. And then the night before the Baker Mayfield thing came out, and I remember betting you that night. I was like, there's no fucking way they take the short quarterback out of Oklahoma. There's just no way they take. Like I really didn't believe he would be there. That he would be the pick, and he was. I was wrong. Hey, it is what it is. I thought it was all smokes again. And I think any chance of anybody saying that's not Zach Wilson is a smokescreen, in my opinion.
It should be Zach Wilson.
I'm
just saying for those odds that you could put that there. But
you're absolutely right.
Bet on Fields going 3 for me.
Yeah, let's do the next one. So this was one I don't remember when we started talking about this, but 3.5 quarterbacks in the top 10. I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the over.
I think it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and I actually do think there's going to be a drought. Now, I think we both agree on this, and tell me if you disagree. I think you're going to need a trade up for this to happen. A team is going to have to trade up. Maybe Denver at 9. Denver at 9 is your question.
Could save me.
Yeah, Denver at 9 could save you. I don't think it's Denver at 9. I really don't. I think that's a smokescreen because Denver has a guy they want to fall, and if a team trades up ahead of them, that more likely that guy falls, right? So
I saw a report the other day about the Broncos GM loving Justin Fields and the Trey Lance factor.
Hey, and it could happen.
One of them will be there.
For sure. Yeah. I think both of them will be there. I really do. Obviously, I do think it's going to be kind of a drop off, and I really don't know. I think there's going to be a quarterback fall, man. One of these, of the top 5 that we keep talking about constantly, one of those guys, like it's either going to be Justin Fields or Trey Lance, and obviously, if Mac Jones doesn't go 3, he's going to have a mighty fall.
Mac Jones
doesn't go 3.
That's the thing that I don't think people are talking about enough, is because if he doesn't go 3. Boom. Realistically, Justin Fields and Trey Lance are a better quarterback prospect than a Mac Jones. He realistically could be. He could be on the
Bears at 20.
Bears at 20, not Bears moving up.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So I mean, it's just very, very interesting. I do think it'd be the under. This is the one that I'm like the least confident about. I'll be honest, of the ones that we've gone through as far as like my bets. There could very easily be an extra quarterback in that top 10. I just don't think so. I really don't. What's the next one here? I'll let you go through it.
Well, because this one's kind of a your guy thing too. Jalen Phillips, top 20. This is a guy from the very beginning, after the combine and all this stuff. You've come out very high on Jalen Phillips.
I think he's a top 10 pick.
Yes, and you've said that you wouldn't be bothered if the Dolphins were looking at him at a 6 necessarily.
If we took him at 6, I'd have no problem with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Top 20. I don't know if he's going to go up there. I have heard the hype around it. It's just one of those things where it just depends on where other teams evaluate their talent and stuff.
The concussions is a big thing. That's probably the biggest reason. Like, honestly, Dolphins take him at 6. I think we missed out on somebody else because I think he should fall a little bit because of concussions. I do think he'll fall out of the top 10. I think he's a top 10 talent, but those injuries are a serious issue. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. I just would be shocked, and we're actually going to talk about it because, like I said, I was going through it last night, and Jalen Phillips is on this on the FanDuel bet as well, and it's at 23.5. And that's to me, that's a slam dunk. That I feel like he's certainly going to go ahead of there. So that's an interesting one. I'll let you take it away again.
My guy, J.C. Horn,
same bet,
top
basically.
20, a top 20 bet on J.C. Horn. Listen, I think that it is going to take. So if 3 corners go, I'm covered there. I think he should be in the 3 corners. I know there's some talks about the guy from Georgia going. There's one other. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Caleb Farley, Surtain, and
J.C. Horn.
And J.C. Horn are like the top 3. I've heard what is the corner's name out of Georgia? Let me look it up because I was watching corners earlier. Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell is the other guy that I've definitely heard some hype about in the top 20. You've heard a little bit of Greg Newsome. I just started watching him right before we did this podcast. I don't think it'll be. I just don't think so. But we'll see, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Three go in top 20. He should be one of the top 3.
And I'm arguing that he should go number 1.
Yeah.
I think with his physicality, I think with how good he is in the slot versus man, all of those factors, he is what you look for when you are a team that is decimated at the cornerback position.
Yeah.
You need a guy who can step up, really be your one. You don't need a zone corner primarily who's going to be your number 1 corner. That's not how it works, you know. So I'm looking in last year's AJ Terrell range, which I think was a 13 to 16.
Yeah, I think he went 16.
I think that is prime spot for J.C. Horn to go.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings at 14 does not bother me one bit.
Yeah. You look at right between 10 and you said 14 at the Vikings. 3 teams that I think could easily go corner.
Yeah.
You got the Cowboys, Giants, and Vikings. All 3 of those teams could go corner.
Man, I can
me a bit.
see the Giants. Too.
Yeah,
I can see them in the Giants stuff.
Yeah, so let's move on. Last bet that we have right now, another wide receiver, Terrace Marshall. I've been talking about this entire time, going to the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself if he doesn't go to the Baltimore Ravens. It's just I've had that mocked throughout the draft process. Pretty much since I watched him and did a video on him, I mentioned him go to the Ravens. I just can't see it going any other way. I think he's a first rounder. This is another one. He could be T. Higgins. He could because he actually kind of similar to T. Higgins in a lot of ways. Not exactly the same prospect, but similar. He could be one of those guys that goes at the very top of the second round. I think that's his floor. I can't imagine him falling any farther than that. But I definitely get this bet as well. Putting him in the first round, a little bit of a risky bet, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, this is why I would say it's risky. I was willing to give you top 40.
Oh, really?
But you didn't haggle back. No, you didn't haggle back.
I'll give you top 25 on J.C. Horn if you give me top 40 on Terrace Marshall.
Deal.
Move it. All right, we just changed it up right now.
I think that helps us both.
And the thing is, I do like J.C. Horn, and I don't have a problem with him top 25. The cornerback position is weird. I could easily see one of those guys falling, and if it's J.C. Horn, it's J.C. Horn. Like, I could see it happening.
Of course, yeah. I get that. Terrace Marshall, though, I think you're really going to get me on that early day 2 pick because I don't know. I think when you compare a Terrace Marshall versus a Rondale Moore head-to-head,
to me, it's not close. And I know you disagree with this, but to me, it's not close.
Electric is Rondale. The vertical, the speed, the elusiveness, the hands, the overall hand. I mean, Terrace Marshall did a really good job this year on a lackluster LSU offense as a whole. But let's be honest, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson took over the show until it was no longer their show to do.
Yeah.
Terrace Marshall is a good wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he screams first round talent right away.
Yeah, and Rondale Moore for me, it's the injuries. I agree. He's an explosive dude. He really is.
The 5'7" is the thing that bugs me the most.
But yeah, the size and the explosiveness, and then it's like, I definitely get what you're saying with that. Well, that's the extent of our bets right now. That's the extent of our bets right now.
More.
We're gonna have more. I'll throw another wide receiver out there. Rashad Bateman. I don't think is a top 40.
I think Rashad Bateman would be a first-round pick before a Terrace Marshall.
Really?
But I cannot lump together a Rondale Moore and Rashad Bateman all top 40 because there's a lot of wideouts right there.
I'll give you first. Give me something because I think Rashad. Because I actually have Rondale Moore graded a lot higher. It's just the injuries for me that kills me. Rashad Bateman, I truly have as like a third round guy.
16 is 48, so give me 48 and down. I think he will be an upper echelon second round pick.
He's so essentially top 50. I'm not gonna split hairs on the last two.
Rashad Bateman will go in the top 50, and you know he will.
Give me odds. Give me 2-1 odds. Nothing crazy. 2-1 odds. You owe two if he falls outside the top 50.
Okay.
All right. We're negotiating here. I love it. All right, let's get over to FanDuel. We kind of hit the Mac Jones thing at 3 pretty hard already. We'll leave that alone for the overall picks. This is what I like. So we're gonna go positional, like the first player at each position first, and then I want to go player over unders, and then first round totals. And I think it's gonna be kind of a fun conversation. Mm-hmm. We did this last year, which I thought was fun. First wide receiver taken, and I'm gonna go through the odds here just for a second. To me, it's clear cut. I don't think there's any argument here. But Jamar Chase at minus 950, he's a clear cut favorite. Just like I said, Devontae Smith at plus 750. Look, I don't hate people for thinking it. Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. It could happen at plus 750 and plus 1,000 for Jalen Waddle. Certainly good odds. Rashad Bateman, we just talked about him. I think that'd be ridiculous at 6,000. Yeah, he's at 4. Look, I disagree with it. I'm allowed to disagree with it. Kadarius Toney at 10,000, and then after that, it just gets ridiculous. Like there's no way any of those guys.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. What do you think?
It's Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
The only way that I can entertain the thought of it not being is just brings me back to last year's three-headed monster of a Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs. But Jamar Chase is so much ahead. Of Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, and those two guys are amazing talents. Jamar Chase coming out last year, I think if Jamar Chase came out last year with what we know now, he is that far ahead of all the other guys in that class last year as well.
I
He's
completely
got one, and then you have the others.
I 1,000% agree. I will say on a betting like odds and things like that, I don't hate anybody who says I'm gonna put $10 on a plus 750 for Devontae Smith to somehow go ahead of him. It could happen. I don't personally have them graded that close, but they've been talked about graded that close.
There's a world that it happens with the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I've heard analysts
to get with Tua.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see something like that happen. I wouldn't like it if we took Devontae Smith over Jamar Chase. I would be incredibly upset. I like Jamar Chase that much, but you just trust your team and go from there. So I agree. Not a whole lot of conversation here. This is one I don't think we're going to disagree, but I know a lot of people will maybe in the comments because we agree that Travis Etienne's the best running back in this class.
Yeah.
Najee Harris is the favorite to go 1 at minus 170. I don't think he goes 1. I really don't. I think Najee Harris is a little bit of a scheme fit. I think he fits certain schemes, but like any team that wants to go outside zone or anything like that, that's not really what Najee Harris is built to do. He's can do it. I'm not saying he can't, but I think you would lean towards like a Travis Etienne or other players ahead of a Najee Harris. So Travis Etienne at plus 150 to me is the bet, and I actually have already bet on that. I put $10 on that last night.
Yeah, it's Etienne for me. But I'm not as hard on Najee as you are. I think Najee is an amazing talent.
I do too.
I know. You're not saying scheme dependent.
No.
You're saying if you were looking for the Jets with their that's why I'm led to think it's going to be a team with that other second, that other first. The Jags were the Jets for that matter.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that running back who can open up all the folds, especially in the passing game, helping out a young quarterback who could really be the scat back, that's Travis Etienne. That's kind of what you're going for there.
Yeah.
I have no problem here putting a little bit of money on Javonte Williams, though.
Yeah, plus 500.
Listen, we're going back last year, and nobody is talking about Clyde going.
Yeah.
Nobody is talking about Clyde going.
Yeah.
A team could fall in love with Javonte Williams. A team could fall in love with the fact that he doesn't have nowhere near as much tread on the tires or worn off as Najee and Travis Etienne do.
Yeah, because he split carries with Michael Carter.
And Michael Carter was the main dude for the most part at North Carolina.
Yeah, he was.
So Javonte has come on late. He has come on strong, and he is peaking at the right time. There's a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll go one step further. Kenneth Gainwell, to me, is a little bit like CEH, right? And, I've learned my lesson a little bit for CEH. I was wrong to have him number 1. Certainly guys ahead of him that he probably should have been 4th last year on my rankings. And, but he did go number 1, so I feel a little vindicated on that one. But Kenneth Gainwell, I feel like similar kind of way. The right team could fall in love with that style of running back. Smaller guy, scat backier type of guy, ball of muscle type of dude. And, at plus 1,000, again, it's scheme dependent. Running backs are so weird because it's like it's not one size fits all. Every team and every scheme fits a little bit different, and that's what I mean with like I think Travis Etienne. And I've heard people say the exact opposite of what I'm about to say, but I think Travis Etienne fits the most scheme. Like I feel like more teams are going to see him as the favorite just because I think he'll fit more schemes than a Najee Harris.
He's more Swiss Army now.
And again, look, if Najee Harris goes to like a team, a fucking team like Atlanta. I mentioned Atlanta a bunch of times with Najee Harris, but if Najee Harris goes to Atlanta, he'll be the best running back in this running back class. I'll say that straight out. Like I know it doesn't matter.
I think there's a lot of times. I'm glad you mentioned that there's so many different players out there.
Yeah. Depending
on where they go in the scheme and the amount of talent that is around them and the amount of the coaching that is willing to put life into them on the field. There's a reason that we see all these different things go. Like last year, there was a chance with Clyde. You would have to be a dummy to not admit that in that offense, Clyde, whether you like his skill set or not, could flourish in that offense.
Yeah.
I think that could be said about a lot of running backs. I think Buffalo is a great landing spot for any of these running backs. Whichever one is fortunate enough to land in that spot, if they do, That's just
Makes
how
sense.
it's going. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Shit, man. I stopped talking shit about Mac Jones the second those rumors about him going to the 49ers went. Like, okay, I'm done shitting on Mac Jones because he'll be good with the 49ers. It's all scheme, man. All right. Offensive line, not really a fun one. Penei Sewell.
Can you put $100 on Penei? I want to see what that odds pay out at. Because I'll drop 100 on it, but I bet it's going to be like $6.
16. It's not worth it. It's not at 100 to win 16.
Not to be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Rashawn Slater, maybe you believe in that. You could put, you have an extra $20, 20 to win 54. I don't think that's worth it because to me,
I wouldn't touch those lines.
To me, I feel like this is the line that we should see with the wide receiver position, with Penei Sewell being the clear cut number one, and then everybody else kind of behind him. And Jamar Chase is far more of the clear cut number one on the odds. Just speaking, the odds on FanDuel here. I'm kind of surprised that that's not flipped a little bit, but hey, that's all right. Moving on, I don't have a good feel for the safety class yet. I'm actually trying to get through the DBs right now, so I'm not going to touch on that. Do you want to touch on safeties at all?
Javon Holland is good, but it's going to be Trevon. I mean, that's the guy at TCU. He's an electric guy. Safety really isn't that high though this year in this class. It is a deep class.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, it is a deep safety class. There is not a top 15 talent creeping up in there.
Weird that Molden is talked about as a corner, but Molden, I just watched him out of it doesn't matter, but
keep in mind with Andre Sisco, he's one. I really like him too.
I think I'm just going through the DBs. Every safety that I see, I'm like, man, wouldn't mind him in the mid rounds. Like safety to me and I've mentioned this a handful of times, safety's turning into running back a little bit to a lesser degree, but it's one of those same kind of positions where the tread on the tire goes pretty quick. You don't really see a whole lot of like 31-year-old safeties or anything. It does fall off pretty quickly. Same with corners a little bit, and I mean you can find a safety in the mid rounds so easily. It's one of those positions where it's like the positional value does not. Oh, we're just gonna keep going. Sorry about that. I got a phone call denied. But the positional value just doesn't really scream first round to me anymore.
I get that.
Yeah, but
I'm shocked to see the cornerback rankings right there.
I want to touch on cornerback here because I have one.
What in the world are they doing with Caleb Farley being at plus 1,900?
Yeah.
So Patrick Surtain is minus 300. The favorite, of course, is I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn, my guy, is a plus 195. So we're in the same realm right here.
Yeah. And it falls off.
Why is there such a drop for Caleb Farley right there?
The big thing is the injury. And before, because I put $10 on this.
I understand that, but damn.
I put $10 on this last night, 10 to 1, 190. I'm good with that either way. And I literally looked it up. He had a back surgery that apparently teams could be worried about. But every report that I've seen, and granted these can be pushed by the agent and the player to kind of make themselves seem more viable. But every report that I've seen online says that he's good. He has a 4-month recovery process. NFL doctors aren't worried. Like that's everything that I've seen. Hey, you never know. Like that could drop him into the second round. We don't know. But to me, Caleb Farley is every bit the talent of the other two. I think they're all in the same. They're all in the same tier for me. And again, I haven't gone through the entire class, and I have not ranked him yet. And I'm trying to get through that before in the next couple of days. To be honest,
Farley is not that far separated from these guys.
No, not at all.
And I'm a J.C. Horn huge fan.
Yeah, to me the odds just to me the odds just scream, hey, we've seen enough guys that are like in that same tier end up getting drafted number one in their position group that we're not expecting. Could easily be Caleb Farley.
Yeah,
I'll throw another one out there. Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. It's a real damn good corner. He's at plus 3,100. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but we've seen weirder shit happen in the draft.
Arnett.
I mean, this is, exactly. I mean, honestly, shit, we've seen weird shit like that happen in this draft. To me, there's no, like last year, we had a corner go 4 overall. Everyone knew who was going to be the number one. I don't feel like that's the case here. We've known about Patrick Surtain for a while, but he didn't, just blow the doors off of this past season and make everybody say, oh, he's number one for sure. No, there's a little bit of wiggle room. There's definitely Surtain? Or what did I say? Patrick Surtain is what I was saying.
Surtain kind of got burned a lot this year, man.
Exactly.
It's okay to say that.
Took a hit. Yeah, I'm glad you agree because that's kind of what I noticed watching Alabama film.
J.C. Horn was the number one cornerback in the SEC last year, and I can statistically prove that to you.
And what did he run, like a 4.2 something?
Oh, I'm not even talking. I'm talking pure numbers. On
Exactly. Yeah.
The guy who got the most yards on him out of anyone in the SEC was Devontae Smith at 65. Devontae Smith won the Heisman.
Did you watch that video I sent to you? This is way off topic. We're gonna talk about a different YouTuber, but Brett Coleman did a video on J.C. Horn talking about like all of the NFL wide receivers that he's faced ridiculous list.
Oh, it is insane.
Ridiculous list.
He goes up against number one talent. He officially ruined Seth Williams' draft stock.
Yeah.
He put that man to rest, and I'm a diehard Auburn fan.
Yeah.
Love Seth Williams to death, but if he wasn't able to show up against a top-tier cornerback who's going to be out there in the draft, what are you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. All right, we'll move on. Again, guys, hey, go check out the back end of this list on FanDuel here for some names that, like, hey, I think they could surprise us. I really do. Caleb Farley and Tyson Campbell really speak out to me. And then here, first defensive lineman drafted. To me, I think there's some real value here. Kwity Paye's the favorite at -145. Jalen Phillips at +230. To me, there's some value. Christian Barmore at +500.
That's my favorite.
That's the defensive tackle out of Alabama. I'm not as high on this D tackle class in general. I look at Christian Barmore as like a back half of the first, or like I think of a back end first, maybe second rounder guy. That's kind of where I see him, and I could be wrong on that. We'll see. Just value wise, but he's certainly he's the best D tackle in the class for sure.
I think it's the potential. That can pop off right there.
Ton of potential.
That's what it is. But
and he blew up in big games.
We are very spoiled going off of last year, though, having a Derek Brown and the South Carolina boy.
Oh, yeah. Went to the 49ers. I can't remember him.
Exactly.
14 overall to the 49ers, and I can't remember his name. Whatever.
We were very spoiled by having two of those elite guys very high. Christian Barmore, though, I think could be one of those guys that a team falls in love with just because of the physicality and the overall what he could do if he hits.
To me, the odds are messed up because I don't see any way that he's valued in the same range as like a Jalen Phillips or Kwity Paye. I just don't see that.
I get that. Because it's purely positional ranking.
Yeah, positional value first of all, and then it's like even if you don't add in good save. Even if you don't add in like the positional value, Christian Barmore is not as good of a prospect as Jalen Phillips and Kwity Paye. And to me, at +500, that's not good enough odds for me to really touch that bet. Jalen Phillips at +230. Excuse me. That's another one I've already bet on. I'm in on that. I really am. I do think he has a good chance of being the first defense lineman taken. You go on? You go anywhere else?
Kwity Paye is a good one.
Kwity Paye is a good one. Jason Away. I mean, Jason Away.
I think he's drastically moving up boards. He should not be the first one taken.
He shouldn't, but at +1900, again, hey, we've seen weird shit.
Out of all those late names after, it's not going to be Gregory Rousseau.
No.
I think he's going to take the fall.
You think Jason Away will take the fall?
No, Gregory Rousseau is going to take the fall.
Okay,
he's going to take the fall out of this defensive lineman class.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Could be wrong. Team could take him early.
Yeah, hey, it could happen. I think if you're going to take a guy on traits early, Gregory Rousseau and Jason Away are similar guys in the sense that like you're betting on their traits and hoping that everything else can come too. Jason Away would be the guy. Jason Away didn't have a sack last year, and that doesn't really matter. Like to me, I don't really look at the stats, but I mean, you'd like to see a little bit of production if you're going to bet on the physical attributes. That's just my take. All right, player over-unders. These are the most fun for me. Justin Fields at over-under 3.5. This is a weird one because it's like the under at +1, at +18. That's basically saying he's going to go 3, right? There's better odds just to bet on him going 3 than there is to bet the under.
They contradict themselves there.
Yeah, they do. They contradict themselves really hard. Because they're basically saying we don't think he's going to go 3.
It's better odds to bet on Justin Fields going 3, but the under gives you more money at 3.5.
Yeah, and the over is at exactly at -144. So which is much better. Like they're putting that as the favorite to go over, but he's the favorite to go 3
he
as
won't
a
be
quarterback.
For long. I mean, we've seen the Mac Jones line shift.
Exactly,
it's going to change.
Yeah, but hey, I think that line is changing just because everyone bet on Justin Fields. The average fan is going to bet on Justin Fields over Mac Jones. And that's totally fair, but hey, we're trying to be a little bit smarter than the average fan, right? I mean, we're essentially the average fan, but we study a little bit more. All right, Trey Lance. This is an interesting one. Over under 6.5. To me, I'm gonna go over. I really do. And again, I've sat here and said I think there's only 3 quarterbacks that go in the top 10. But hey, a team could trade up for the Dolphins. Dolphins already said, hey, we've traded twice in this draft. Really only once. They made 2 deals to go from 3 to 6, essentially. They got a first and a second round pick in the next 2 years to go from 3 to 6. They're willing to trade down again if the price is right. So, you could see maybe a team trading up there, but that's really your only chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have to cut because of the spider. There's a spider off screen. Do we have to cut? Or we
No, we can run it, bro. Let him listen. He likes it. What does he think?
I don't know.
I think there's a chance. It's going to take the trade happening here, though. It's going to take a trade happening for Trey Lance to go right there. I would feel safer saying the under. Mm-hmm. I like Trey Lance a lot, though, as a quarterback.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You better quit fucking looking at that wall, bro. I've accepted that he's over there.
He's a spider.
I'm not afraid of him.
Yeah, he's a little spider. He's not a big spider.
Staring at him if he's creeping on me. It's good. That's a weird one. Ian Book draft position over under 219.5.
That's one too. That's a weird one for sure.
I have seen some fans, and they got to be Notre Dame fans, I guess. They have said that he is the most slept on quarterback in this class.
He's not. He's not the most slept on. I'm sorry. I'm going
he's
down the line.
definitely not the most slept on. I think Ian Book has talent,
yeah.
But he does the same thing that a Trace McSorley did for me at Penn State. It was a very good college quarterback. He is a guy who is always welcomed on campus. He is a campus legend, a campus hero. But I don't know about an Ian Book in the NFL draft stock.
I don't want to say anything negative about him. Yeah, but I agree. I don't think he's a draftable quarterback in my opinion. It's
okay.
There's nothing elite there for me. You got to have something elite or elite. If nothing's elite, you got to at least feel like, okay, this guy is going to be a great backup in the league for a long time, and I don't feel that way about him either. So
we talked about most slept on.
I would take the.
Let's
go
over. Down to a Jamie Newman at 165.5.
This is the one I like because we talked about when we did our quarterback rankings. I mentioned Jamie Newman. He was like the seventh or sixth or whatever quarterback that I went and looked at. Seventh quarterback that I went and looked at, and I just I don't love him. I get why he's not being talked about a lot, but I do see some potential there. I see some traits and like, okay, big arm, check, big body, check. Used very weird in college, so it's like I don't.
I think he shot himself in the foot with how he played his college career, man.
It shot himself in the foot for opting out and then declaring for the draft. Like
he could have stayed at Georgia and really helped out their season a lot because they were hurting at the quarterback position for a while.
Yeah. I get. I don't know the kid either, and maybe that's why we're not hearing a lot of buzz. Like nobody likes him. Nobody wants him to be the quarterback. He'll probably go under. I think talent wise, he deserves to get a shot in like that third or fourth round range. It's over under 164.5. And I don't know what round that puts him in, just to be totally honest with you. I can look it up if you want. But yeah, that's what, fourth round probably?
32 times 3 is 96.
Yeah, it's definitely day three. It's definitely day three, but I was thinking fourth or fifth. But you got to add in compensatory picks. I don't know. I
would say fifth round. So I think you should go. I think you should go above that for sure.
Yeah, but we'll see. I don't know. It's not something I would bet on, but it's an interesting bet. Definitely a fun one. We will. Oh, Najee Harris here. This is a really good one. Over under 28.5. I don't think a running back goes in the first round. We have a bet on that. We didn't mention that, but a running back in the first round. We need to put that in there. You think a running back goes in the first round?
I don't. Put a shot on that.
Yeah.
Now, so there's two. I know y'all can't see the screen. I'll go over both of them. There's two bets here. If I were to tell you the better bet, it is to take the under on Najee at 28.5, and it is to bet the over on a Travis Etienne at 35.5. Yeah. Because on the day two, 100% guarantee you Travis Etienne is going to be gone by this point.
You think the Jets take him at 34?
There's no way they don't.
Yeah. I get that. I definitely get that.
There's almost no way.
And then the Dolphins at 35.
That's what going into those day two.
Does he
picks,
get past the Jets and the Dolphins?
You literally are looking. I guess there's an argument for it because of where Dalvin Cook went. Dalvin went at like 48, 41-ish.
Yeah, but there was off the field issues there.
There was.
I think the better argument would be like where did the Colts draft Jonathan Taylor
and a D Swift
exactly
and a J.K.
a lot of those guys fell because it was a kind of a deeper running back class. After these top two running backs, I mean, it's kind of dealer's choice a little bit as far as like what you like and where these guys go. I definitely think there's some more value.
If I had to put my money on the 20, I mean, because we both agree Etienne is the better running back either way. Yeah. Why not take the lower numbers with the 35.5 compared to a Najee at 28.5?
Yeah, and granted, we're I think in the minority at this point on that, but that's okay.
This shows we're in the minority.
Exactly. This is another really good one. Devontae Smith, 11.5 over under. So not only does he fall to the top 10, does he fall to the top 11 at 12? That's where the Eagles draft. The Eagles are at 12 right now. So I guess that's kind of their line of demarcation. Does a team get ahead of the Eagles to draft a wide receiver?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's deep enough. I think it is deep enough in knowing that you are content with getting the Jalen Waddle if you don't get the Devontae Smith.
I agree with that. I certainly look. I think the deepness of this class very similar to last year. A CD Lamb fell to 18, 17, something like that, and it was only because teams could look at what they were going to get in the second round.
Can you rank that for me real quick? Then Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, CD Lamb. Top of your head.
Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, CD Lamb. I go Jerry. Oh, that's so tough, and it's so different
because their values were so good towards each other, but that kind of hurt the stock in a way. Because
I would take Jerry over Devontae based on size. I think I like Jerry's overall physique a little bit more, and I think they're similar route running and athleticism. Okay. I think they're kind of in that same tier at least. I would take. I would definitely take Waddle over Hunter Henry. I definitely would.
Hunter Henry. CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Alabama wide receivers. Did you not throw in?
No, I didn't throw Ruggs out there.
You didn't throw. Why did I say Hunter Henry?
I didn't want to talk about Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, yeah, Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
Okay, so Henry Ruggs, and you're saying CeeDee Lamb. I had CeeDee Lamb ahead of Jerry Jeudy, so I guess
those are the guys that fell.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'll say CeeDee Lamb, and then I'll say Jerry Jeudy, and then I guess I still have Devontae Smith ahead of Waddle.
Both from last year are better than Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle.
Oh, man, I don't know. That's a really tough question. I need time to think about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which one's going to fall?
Yeah.
At the 11.5 spot on Devontae Smith, I would feel comfortable taking the under if I had to. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Now the Jamar Chase at 5.5. I 100% promise you I will be putting money on this.
On the over or the under?
On the under.
You think he goes 5?
I'm sorry, over.
So you think he goes 6?
Yeah. The Bengals.
It's all about the Bengals. They
got some new uniforms yesterday. They look clean, by the way. Yeah. Joe Burrow sitting on the throne in the white stripes, and on his knee is a fat ACL scar tissue. You can see it. That's all you need to know why they're taking Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. I'm sorry. They're not taking a wide receiver there whenever they have enough talent at that position to be okay versus your franchise quarterback future having another scar on his knee whenever he's doing new uniform photos.
Yeah, no, I get that. I definitely get that.
Jamar.
I completely agree. First of all, I do. I think it's at that 5.5 because first of all, we know no matter what happens, unless maybe Atlanta trades out for a team trading up for a wide receiver, I just can't imagine that would happen. Atlanta's not taking a wide receiver. It's all about the Bengals. With the Bengals are between a Sewell or a Jamar Chase. I do agree that should be Jameis
between the two.
No, I don't. I think that gets overblown in the media. I don't think that's a real thing that teams really think about. At least it shouldn't be. You don't draft because they were in college together. I just don't think you would do that. Maybe that is a thing because he was fucking awesome with Joe Burrow throwing the football. But
they just went out and claimed Thaddeus Moss.
He would be fucking but again, I don't know if that was a direct connection, and that's more likely to happen at the back end. You draft it. You know what I mean?
You give a guy another shot because there's a chance. You don't make a
decision at the 5th pick in the draft based on who did my quarterback play with in college? I just can't imagine. I agree. It should be a tackle. It absolutely should be. I wouldn't bet on it though. I really wouldn't. Just because I wouldn't.
I'm comfortable enough to put 100.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't put 100 that Jamar Chase doesn't go 5. No, I wouldn't.
It's just seeing Burrow sit on that throne and the scar is like this.
Listen, and the thing is, I agree with you. I would 100% agree with you. If you made me bet on it, I would. I don't feel comfortable enough betting on it, and I like other bets a little bit more than that one. I think it's an interesting one. I think it's a really, really good line. Actually, I don't know. Because if you
put it at 6.5, it doesn't get touched. You're right.
If it's at 6.5, I would go under. Honestly, if it was 6.5, I would go under
because of the Dolphins.
The Dolphins, I just don't think he gets past the Dolphins and the Bengals.
Where I can entertain the fact that yes, there is a chance that they're going to take him. So I feel so strongly about that. That's why I'm willing to bet on it.
Yeah,
because you have to protect your guy. They have to know that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Listen, Joe Burrow trained with Jordan Palmer going up to the draft, and Jordan Palmer was immensely talking to Burrow about, hey, the Bengals
are not the place to go.
Carson used to tell me all the time that they never protected him.
Yeah.
They never took care of him. They never really got him the weapons until it was too late towards the end, and they just blamed Carson for Carson problems instead of Bengals for Bengals problems. Burrow has to acknowledge that. Burrow has to understand that after this injury happened, there's a chance that Burrow doesn't come back and is the same. Yeah. ACL injuries are a lot more common now, and there is going back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it used to ruin your career.
Yeah. You're not saying more common, but more easier to get back from, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Sports science and medicine is advanced to the point now where an ACL
it's not an issue. You don't worry about it because you're right. 10 years ago, if a team had or if a player had an ACL injury in college, they fell a round or two because of that. You just like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be the same guy. Now it's really not even a question. Like he'll be the same guy. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. I totally think that's a fair argument. We'll move on. I'm good to move on if you are.
That's fine.
We're going to skip a Jalen Waddle because I think it's the same conversation with Devontae Smith. Similar odds, by the way, and it's the exact same line at 11.5. If you're interested in that, Kyle Pitts at what are you doing with your pecs there?
I was just
sorry, I caught that out of the corner of my eye. You got Kyle Pitts at 5.5 over under. I take the over. I really do.
I would have to take the over.
I feel far more confident about this than I do.
How is the over plus?
Yeah, I don't look. I think that's again.
Did you put money on that?
I didn't, but I should have.
I feel hypocritical as hell because I said that Kyle Pitts would be the first non-quarterback position taken, and he should be because of what he can do out on the field. He should be.
Yeah.
But positional value-wise, I don't think the Falcons should be led to take a Kyle Pitts necessarily versus anything else.
They have so many needs, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean,
I don't know who'd they get at Hayden Hurst, right?
Hayden Hurst is,
I think Hayden Hurst is a serviceable guy in that role. Kyle Pitts would for sure be an upgrade, but with all the other tools and weapons you have on that team, at number 4,
I agree.
it's a luxury pick, right?
Yeah, I thought the draft started at 6 for Kyle Pitts. I did not think that the people were thinking he was realistically going to go 4.
This is entertaining the Bengals.
Yeah, this is entertaining the Bengals and the yeah. I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Okay, put $50 on the over.
All right, let's just see what it would be at plus
Probably
123.
right?
64. Damn, good shit.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a deal.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's a deal.
I'm 100% doing that, guys. I'm telling you. I will not lead you astray and tell you I will put money somewhere that I will not put my own. I promise you, I am putting money that Kyle Pitts goes over 5.5.
Yeah, to me, that's just that's too easy. And the only way you lose there, really, to me, the only way you lose is if Dallas is willing to trade from 10 to 4. But 10 to 4 costs multiple first-round picks.
Yes.
Or at least it did for essentially the same thing.
Especially considering there's going to be a quarterback on the board.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to go from 12 to 3 cost you 3 first-round picks, essentially. The 12 spot and then the next 2 years first-round picks and a second. That's what it cost you. So to go from 10 to 4, that's 3 less spots. How much is that going to cost you? At least in the first next year and a second, maybe.
I think having the fact that Kyle Pitts is a tight end, while he is labeled an offensive weapon in all of our minds, he is nonetheless still a tight end technically on there.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the Bengals at all. Like, we just went over the Bengals debate. We didn't mention Kyle Pitts once.
Yeah.
It's Panay or Jamar.
Completely agree.
That's where that's happening.
Completely agree. Yeah. So that's a good one. And like I said, I went through this last night. I guess I missed that one because that's a crazy one to me. This one I like too. Kadarius Toney, another wide receiver I do think goes first round. 29.5. I wasn't going to bet because I really want him at 31 to the Chiefs. I know that's been mocked a lot. If this was 31.5, I would have bet on it because I think the Chiefs is the farthest
that
they'll fall.
Doesn't even give the Packers to you either.
Exactly. Yeah, the Packers is another one too. You're right. You're absolutely right. Now again, in that range, teams trade up for the guys they want. From the back end of the first to the 20s or so, you can trade up and it doesn't really cost you that much to go get the guy you want. So like
you'll swap your first.
Exactly. The positioning isn't as big of a deal, I don't think. But yeah, that's certainly an interesting one. At over, it's minus 110. At under, it's minus 110. So it's the same bet either way.
If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, I'll go under. I do think he goes first. And again, if I think he goes first, then am I really going to worry about those last 2 picks in the first?
I think he goes first as well, and I'm not going to worry about those.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fair. This is one, I mean, I've already bet on it, essentially.
I bet you got to slam that one. What you've been saying?
Rashad Bateman, 26.5 over under. I don't think he goes first round. I really don't. I think there's just, again, like Kadarius Toney is far more physically gifted than Rashad Bateman from an athletic standpoint, in my opinion. And I disagree with me in the comments. That's fine. I'll take the heat, but that's my stance there. The fact that Kadarius Toney is going lower than Rashad Bateman, not by much, but a little bit, I just think that's wrong. 26.5. I think he's lucky to go in the first round. I don't think he goes in the first. And again, I'm in the minority there. I get that. I'm not telling people to bet on that. I'm saying I'm probably going to bet on that. But
Baltimore.
Again, Baltimore. Oh, that is the Baltimore pick.
I think they're at 27.
They're 27. You're absolutely right. That is the Baltimore's at 27. Either way, again, at this range, you can kind of get caught up in semantics, but in the late 20s, teams trade up, teams move around. I'm not worried as much about the exact positioning right now.
I get that.
You know.
I think he is a first-round caliber wide receiver.
Yeah.
But there are also a lot of names out there. Kadarius Toney, I would rather have Kadarius Toney than Rashad Bateman.
The upside.
Yeah.
To me, the upside. Yeah, absolutely. Rashad Bateman is going to be a really good big slot receiver in the NFL. Is a big slot really what you draft in the first round? I don't know. Maybe one team will.
I think he plugs well into a Baltimore system for what Lamar is looking for.
Yeah, look, I get that. I do get that. That's a good point.
Same for a Terrace Marshall right there. That's where I think those guys have the potential to go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I definitely see that. Offensive lineman, I don't really want to touch any of these. Again,
no.
Panay Sewell at 5.5. I'll take the under.
I have one thing. Why is no one even mocking Panay to the Falcons at all?
Yeah, I don't get that either. I think he
as
could
much
easily
as they've
go
invested
for
in their offensive line picks as they have in the past few years. I mean, they doubled up the year that we were in Nashville, taking 2 in the first round. That was pretty wild.
Yeah,
and I think it was Colton Miller and there was one more that I can't remember off the top of my head. They took 2 of them and they both got hurt. It was pretty bad.
Yes,
so
okay.
We really haven't seen those picks come to fruition yet.
Yeah, they don't have a great offensive line. I don't get why. If I did a mock right now, they'd be taking the lineman at 4. So yeah, I definitely see that. And the other thing, let me ask you this: they take the lineman at 4. What do the Bengals do at 5? Are you between Pitts and?
So that's
where your bet gets
might
dangerous.
Be where it could swap it up.
That's where it could be Pitts over. To me, again, positional value. I'll take Jamar Chase over Kyle Pitts. I will, but that's just my take.
But for the Bengals,
I get that a lot of people disagree.
The Bengals
with that
have C.J. Uzomah coming off of an ACL injury last year at tight end. That's who's coming back, and that's not really that extreme of a weapon.
Yeah.
Versus where you could put a Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Look, you're not wrong. Look, you don't have to do a lot to sell me on Pitts to the Bengals. You really don't.
Yeah.
I get that. But that's an
Elijah Vera Tucker, real quick. I'll do under. I think he's going to the Vikings.
16.5. Yeah, under. I think he goes in the top.
I don't want him.
Yeah, I get that too. He's a plug and play tackle. We'll see what happens, right? Rashad Slater, I don't think he goes. I think only one lineman goes top 10. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, I could be wrong on this. To me, it makes a whole lot of sense if either the Panthers or the Lions took a lineman, and it could easily happen. That's kind of what you're betting on.
Lions taking a Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, that's what you're betting on.
Nasty. I don't know. It just seems like a bite the kneecap kind of move.
Yeah,
I just see that.
I get that. I definitely get that. All right, we're gonna go to defense here. A couple ones. Micah Parsons at 12.5. I'm surprised that's so high. I think he's a top 10 guy. I think the Lions at 7 make a whole lot of sense for Micah Parsons. That's at 7.5. It's plus 114 if you take the under there.
I think the Broncos make sense.
Broncos make sense. Yeah, look, what did their head coach do when he was with the Bears? They took Roquan Smith that year.
Yes.
Right? So and he's not the same, but it's similar.
Micah Parsons is electric though.
Exactly.
And when you have Vip Miller and Chubb who come off of the edge, you really don't have that stand up guy that you're looking for that can command your offense. I've also hinted at the Carolina Panthers doing that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Patrick Surtain, 10.5. I'll take.
That's Dallas. That's the Dallas or Denver pick.
Exactly. I would take the over, though. I would take the over. Now, I do think he can go 10 to Dallas. Probably wouldn't bet on this if I had to, but that's an interesting one.
I don't want to touch it. I know his dad has come out in strong favor of him going to the Cowboys and stuff just because of the whole franchise as a whole. If I had to, I would take over.
Yeah.
Just because you can't. If you're willing to look at a bet right there and you're putting it one specific guy, do you know how hard it is to really nail one specific guy after you get past pick 3?
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
You'll go back and look at all these professional mocks, man.
None of them are accurate. I mean,
exactly.
Nothing.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, we already talked about J.C. Horn. His over-unders at 13.5. That has to make you feel good.
Well, Vikings are at 14.
But I'm saying on our shot bet, that makes you feel good. Kwity Paye, I think, is an interesting one at 16.5. I don't know. I don't know where he goes.
Taking the under.
Yeah, I would probably lean under, but I don't know. I could easily see him going to the Dolphins at 18. I could easily see him going to.
That'd be a good pick at 18 for y'all.
Yeah, I could easily see the Raiders taking him at what, 17, I think. So I don't know. I could just. To me, he's one of those guys I think you could fall. It wouldn't surprise. I have him ranked as 20 and back. Like I think he starts at 20 for me in my rankings.
Look at Zaven Collins.
Zaven Collins is an interesting one at 25.5. I don't know again on this one. That's another linebacker. It's like that's just a weird. That's a weird part of the draft.
Why is Joker not up there?
It's just not one of the guys they had talked about.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want to put no odds on him. So I think it's going to go Parsons, Joker, and then Zaven.
You think so?
Yeah.
But where does that put Zaven? Because I don't know. I really don't have a good feel for that.
Screams New Orleans Saints pick for me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot.
I don't know the order off the top of my head, but no, actually, 25 and south should be the Saints.
Yeah, let me look it up. I'll let you talk about him for a second because we haven't talked about him a lot on this pod.
No, I think when you look at the linebackers as a whole, It's Parsons and Joker's moved up a lot in my eyes from where I thought Parsons was untouchable. Joker and how physical and strong and fast he is can really take care of some business. The Saints are not included in that. I did not realize they made it as far as what they did.
Yeah, the Saints. Oh wow, Saints are 28. So yeah, you're right. So 25. That's Jacksonville. Jacksonville could be the team. I mean, I guess they definitely gonna go defense. I feel like after they got.
I would take the over after seeing the way the board looks after that.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that.
Zaven Collins is the name that has been rising up a lot though to a lot of people later on in the draft.
Yeah, Zaven Collins, I could easily be a first rounder. Definitely a guy we might be talking about day one. I just don't know where. That's not a bet I would make. That's a risky bet in my opinion as far as like
exactly.
Back in that first.
It's the name
I don't have
that
a good
doesn't
feel
get
for him.
tagged to the first a lot. So why would you tag him at north of 25?
Exactly. Last guy, we already mentioned Jalen Phillips. We already touched on him at 22.5. Makes me feel good. I mean, well, it doesn't make me feel great, but I would take the under there just because I do believe he goes top 20. I really don't see how he falls outside of, like, the Dolphins pass him at 18, I'll be mad. I really will be. Then Caleb Farley, we talked about a little bit, his over-under is 22.5. That's it on the over-unders for what FanDuel has. Last thing we're going to touch on before we get out of here, first-round totals. And this is going to be a little bit of, we're going to have to think about it. We're going to have to talk about it a little because we wanted to be a little bit off the cuff on this episode, talk about just, think it out a little bit between the two of us and not have any prepared answers. So we're going to go through this. We're going to have to count it out a little bit. So bear with us here and do it at home with us. Let us know what you think in the comments. Total offensive players drafted in the first round at 18.5. Over. Okay, so
offensive linemen, receivers, quarterback.
So how many offensive linemen go?
6.
That's a good number. So 6, and how many quarterbacks go?
5.
Oh, now we're at 11. How many wide receivers go?
Give me 5.
Now we're at 16. How many?
Tight end Kyle Pitts.
17. Who else am I missing?
One more pick.
Yeah, who else are we missing?
I mean, that's all. We have offensive positions covered.
Yeah. Well, you could throw in a running back there. Throw in a running back at 18. So that screams under, actually. That screams under. If we got to 17,
because I was being kind of generous.
You
on
were
a few of them too.
Because it could easily be 4 wide receivers. It could easily be 5 linemen.
It could easily be 4 quarterbacks.
Exactly.
We don't know that. I mean, there's always a time.
I'm gonna take the under after just going through it. I'm gonna take the under.
I was initially thinking over just because of how top heavy a lot of these positions are, but when you start doing the numbers, man, it's hard to say 8 offensive linemen go, right?
Yeah, it'd be surprising. It would be. Now, it could happen, but I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Flip it to defense, because that means defense would have to be the over.
Yeah, because they're saying total defensive players taken 13.5. They're contradicting themselves again here. I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the value on the over. That's the favored money at -128. To me, I mean, there's definitely gonna be 14 or more defensive players.
Light them up. 3 corners.
3 corners for sure.
1 safety.
You think it's safe? Yeah, I'll give you 1 safety.
I think the TCU safety is going.
Yeah, 1 safety. I'll give you that. Give me. We got the linemen, right? So Quiddy, Jalen Phillips, Joker, 3 there. That I would be shocked if they don't go.
Jason Away.
We had. You said 3 corners?
We're gonna have to reach if we're getting to
3 linebackers. 3 linebackers.
Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons, Xavier,
I put Joker at linebacker.
Oh, you're at Joker. So that's now we're at 10. Who are we missing?
Christian Barmore.
Barmore at 11. Who else is a slam dunk? I'm just trying to go through it in the top of my off the top of my head. That's kind of where you get to. But to me, I feel like there's enough guys that you can talk about day 2.
I don't know if we.
But there's Rousseau. There's another corner. There's so many other positions that back half of the first that I feel like are more likely to go. I feel like, I mean, it's a tough one. It really is. I mean, I get it. But, like, you just go to, like, the top of the first round, right? You could easily see, if it's the Bucks, they're going to probably go either. I mean, you never know what the Bucks are going to do. You never know what the Chiefs are going to do. I don't know. That's a tough way to think about it. I don't know. I think we got to 11, and I feel like there's more guys in that second round range that we can talk about that are defensive players than there are offensive players. And I thought when it gets
towards the end, other than offensive linemen, yes. I think we're going to see the Chiefs maybe take some guy who we wouldn't expect to go at offensive line just because that's the need they.
And if we got to a hard 17 at offensive positions, and I thought we were being generous a little bit.
We were.
And granted, all of those could happen. It could easily get
5
more than that.
Quarterbacks doesn't happen.
But 17 minus 32, that means 15. That means the other half has to be 15 defense linemen. They're giving us a two player gap as far as how we're guessing it for that 13.5. So I would take the over there. It's tough to count it out. out, especially off the top of your head. But yeah, I definitely would take the over there. Quarterbacks, I do not see 6 quarterbacks going. It's over under 5.5.
They're just giving the crazy odds. It's plus 440 for 6 to go.
Yeah.
So you can't touch that.
Plus 440 to 6 to go. What if a Kellen Mond snuck into the first round?
Or
a Trask or a Jamie, any one of those back, next tier of quarterbacks, any one of those guys could sneak in. Would you?
I see 5 being wrapped up. I see if the 5 are wrapped up, I don't see.
I could see 4 quarterbacks going. So I'm stretching to say 6, but if you put $20 on it, you win 88. For a Kellen Mond to sneak in, for a Kyle Trask to sneak in, which we've heard no buzz about, so I doubt that happens.
I want to put my name on it too, because I mentioned to you in brief passing. I think that if there was a Kellen Mond, a spot that I really love, it's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's a great one. Also, I mean, the Bucs have to be thinking life after Brady. Yeah, they got 2 more years of Brady. You're thinking, but I mean,
why not get the guy that Brady might be able to mentor?
If they sat there at 32 and just theoretically, what if they had a big grade on a Kellen Mond? What if they had a big grade on a Jamie Newman? Like I'm speaking just that next tier of guys. Who knows what they are? If they had a big grade on one of those guys and they were there, and they feel comfortable with their roster overall, you feel like you're making a run. You're not really worried about this first round pick right now. You could draft a quarterback that still counts as a first round. I'm speaking out loud. For $20 to quadruple your money, $20 to win 88. Say you're a big baller, you have $50 to spend, you can win 220. Yeah, that's that's value.
You'll be shitting bricks on draft night. Because you're going to need some.
I wouldn't do it. Not everybody would shitting bricks,
especially when Mac Jones doesn't go 3, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do?
But if Mac Jones does, you're right. Because Mac Jones,
because I think Mac Jones would take up whatever spot the Patriots and the Bears would take one. There's no guarantee that they do it. The Patriots, especially.
The thing is, if you're betting on this, you're assuming the top 5 go.
They have to.
So you're shitting bricks in the back half, from 20 to 32, hoping, assuming those guys go. You're not even worried about it.
If they're gone, I can see where you'd have a moment of relief, because there's a world where they're gone by 15.
There's a world. Yeah, I don't expect it to happen though. Okay, that's just a fun conversation. We can move on because we can go in circles for that all day. Total running backs drafted in round 1. We've hit on this already. We both think it's under.
Disagree.
Yeah, the under is at plus 172. Oh, you do think? Yeah, that's right. We disagree. Hey, if you agree with me for whatever reason, if you're dumb like I am, you could bet $20 at plus 172, win 34. Something like that. The favorite is for 1 to go. I just don't see 1 going. I really don't.
I think 1 goes.
It could happen though. Total wide receivers. We mentioned it. The line is at 4.5. It's not going to be under. The favorite is definitely over. I just can't imagine.
It's not under.
It's not under. It's not. I think 5 go. I mean,
there's too many at a positional need.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Especially once you get from, I think the top 3 go probably before the top 20.
Man,
right?
Saints, Ravens, Packers, Chiefs, and then the fact that any other team could just, I genuinely think that is a positional need for all of them.
And then the Colts could surprise you and take a wide receiver.
That's not even talking about the
Jags could surprise you. Yeah, exactly. We're just talking about from 20 to 32, the amount of teams that could take a wide receiver in that range.
That's almost over 4.5 right there.
Exactly. And then we're assuming 3 go before 20 hits, right? Yeah. So you got to feel good about that bet on the over. Again, not good odds, but it's just fun to talk about. This one's a dumb one. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Tight ends over under 1.5. I think it's only 1. You're you're a baby Gronk guy, so Pat. I can never say his last name. Freiermuth. Maybe he sneaks in the first round. I don't know. I was getting you agitated.
God, if he does, you are going to get the most shit.
I was just fucking with you, right?
Nope, it's too late. It's too late. You decided against Baby G. I fight his battles for him.
I got him so riled up last year.
280 something. I fight his battles for him though. I
love it. Total offensive lineman. The line is at 6.5. We said 6. Maybe 7 do go. Maybe 8 go. I don't fucking know.
It could be in those later picks, man.
I have no. You
know what they say to do if you don't know who to pick? Take a lineman.
Take a fucking lineman.
Take a lineman.
You don't feel good about it? Take a lineman.
Take a lineman.
You're never gonna go wrong. Shit. Well, you could go wrong, but Hey, and it's
Isaiah Wilson.
It's a deep lineman class. It really is. It's a deep lineman class. You're never gonna get a bad grade from anyone to take a shot on a lineman, help your offensive line. It's such an important position, regardless of. We don't talk about it a lot because I'll be honest. I don't grade offensive linemen because I don't know how to. It's like I'm trying to get better at that, but at this point, I don't know what to look for. So it's just it's a tough position to grade, and everyone needs it. Cornerbacks going in the first. Whoa, cornerbacks are at 5.5. Again, I think this line is fucked up a little bit.
Did we miscalculate?
Do we miss?
No, because the under is at a minus 260 there. That is, you know.
But I mean, the names that I've seen connected to the first round that I could or couldn't. Jamie Newman. I'm gonna go back to the positions here just so I can grab.
Oh, you said Jamie Newman.
Greg Newsome. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, Farley, Newsome, and then Tyson Campbell, and then there's late round buzz for Asante Samuel.
Asante Samuel could fall in there. Aaron Robinson, Fonte Melifanu, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. Eric Stokes, I just would be shocked. Eric Stokes is the other Georgia corner, and I don't think he's that good, I'll be honest. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if he went, but maybe he does. That's an interesting one. 5.5's a lot. I would go under. I would.
I mean, if you're listening to us and you are thinking, you're adding it up in your head and you think that it's the over on a few of these, revert back to that 13.5. And if you feel it's an over at 6 cornerbacks, because we only gave it 3.
We give it 3. Yeah, that makes you feel much better about that 13
That's your missing pieces right there.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. And maybe we should have given it 4. Maybe we're missing one there. But yeah, I absolutely agree. Total safeties. I don't think a safety goes in the first. You said one safety goes. And honestly, one safety probably should go. I'm going to change it. I do think one safety goes. You're right. It seems like it always happens.
Safety will go. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. You never know where. You could see I don't know. Yeah, I could name a lot of teams that maybe would take a shot on a safety late. And again, that's the same kind of conversation.
Think he can be that facilitator back half of on their defense,
Yeah.
He'll go.
Yeah, back half of first. All right, hey, that's all we got. We hit right at an hour. We are done. All right, guys, please, if you're watching this long, you gotta have the 29th circled in your calendar. We are gonna be here on a live stream. We are ready to go, and we are super, super pumped. We are not doing a pod next week, by the way, because our pods usually come out Wednesday or Thursday, so our live stream is the pod, all right? So check that out. We are so excited to talk draft for 3 fucking hours. I'm pumped.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll be drinking. Hopefully you'll be drinking along with us at home. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.
7.